Yeah, that's some new music for the podcast for my regular listeners. We're just going to shake it up a little bit. Welcome to the Live from South College podcast. I'm your host, Kathleen Stockham. The Live from South College podcast is your source for all South College activity, including new student information, deep dives into our 100 plus programs and concentrations, tools of the trade, and even live on location from all of our campuses. Great interviews with faculty, staff, deans, and hear from South College students and alumni in their own words. From certificates all the way to doctoral degrees, catch up with Live from South College for the lighter side of helping your dreams find direction. We talk a lot on this program about possible programs and potential directions you can take as you are looking at South College and getting to know us a little bit. But what about the other side of the journey? Graduation looms ahead, and then what? Where do you go and what do you do next? My next guests are here to help you today and every day, always as a South College graduate. They lead our South College Alumni Association and Career Services. I am pleased to welcome Mary-Kathryn Arnold, Executive Director of Institutional Student Affairs, Ben Landers, Director of Institutional Career and Alumni Services, and Jaime Lindbaugh, Director of Career Services, to the podcast. Hi, guys.
Good
Hello.
morning. Good morning. Thank you for having us today.
All right. Wow. Okay. So everyone sort of scoot over. It's a little crowded in here today. I got three of them and I love it. With this full house of alumni goodness, let's get into all the perks and services that are available now for our alumni. All right, guys, graduation day is typically one of the best days in a person's life. How does the Alumni Association make graduation day even more special? Mary-Kathryn, I'll start with you.
Sure. Thank you. Graduation day is such a milestone. And what we really try to do through the Alumni Association is extend that excitement beyond the ceremony itself. We're welcoming students into a lifelong community because for us, it's not just about you graduated, but rather it's about you now belong to a network of professionals, mentors, and peers who are here to support you. We want them to walk away knowing they're not leaving South College, but they're stepping into a whole new role within it.
Oh, I love that. That's a really great explanation. All right, Ben, tell us a little bit more. How does the Alumni Association make graduation day pretty awesome?
Well, we'll all be there. We'll be there in person, and we get to meet and greet and thank and congratulate and urge our graduates onward and upward. We might even give them a little token of our appreciation as an alumni gift. And we also will take an opportunity to remind them that their connection to South College is lifelong and that the Alumni Association can help them with their continuing career development as they go on their life and work journey. So we're there on site and we help out with all the traditional things that go on in a ceremony, and we're there for support of those graduates that day.
Oh, I love that. So you're kind of like a wingman for life. I like that. Love
So
that. All right, Jamie, what about you?
I think I go with Ben on this one. The best part about it is getting to celebrate with our graduates on that day. Those students we've worked with for a long time, especially in that last quarter, and we get to celebrate in person their accomplishments. And also, the alumni platform is great. They can connect with us very easily. So there's faculty, staff, their cohort on there where they can easily, it's like a Facebook for their program, and where they can go back, get in touch with us if they have questions very easily. They do student success stories, and those are highlighted on the alumni platform as well. So our relationship is not over when they leave. So that's the best part.
Oh, that is great. Now, that's the special alumni website, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, but it's a really unique platform that is dedicated to our alumni. And again, all of those services going forward. So, career services is a huge part of the offering. So, Ben, tell us a little bit more about the career services that are available to our graduates long after the degree is earned.
absolutely. We've been working with them throughout their preparation to graduate. As soon as they become an active pending grad, we're in touch with them directly to help them figure out a plan, to learn what they plan to do with this newfound degree and exactly what they're thinking as far as timing. So anything related to resume preparation, cover letter, preparing for interviews, a good pep talk, asking them to talk to us about their hopes and dreams is something that all of us do. And Mary-Kathryn and Jaime and I have been involved in that for many years here. It's a wonderful program, and we make it a requirement for graduation. That's something probably pretty unique to good old South College because in order to graduate, you need to have a conversation with someone in career services. Because we hear from graduates that tell us that one of the number one reasons they're coming to school and trying to finish a program is to get a job and to improve their lives and their careers. So we're going to be there providing those services right at graduation and beyond through their life journey.
Oh, I love that. So, Jamie, kind of the same question for you. Career services obviously is really, really important for some of these students. They're just now stepping out in a professional sense. Maybe this is like the first like big job they've gotten or that they're looking for, or it could be in some cases, perhaps an older student who has decided to either go to college for the first time or go get that advanced degree. So tell us a little bit more about some of the other career services that are offered.
So the services we offer is really personalized. So it's whatever the student needs. You did mention that we do have a diverse group of students. So some don't need our help as much as others, and some need help from the very basics on up. So we start with the resume. We ask them, "Do you need help?" We'll just look at it if you want us to look at it and just check on it. We'll approve it, or if you need to sit down with us and write one talking about your history and to start from the beginning, we're happy to do that. Also, mock interviews. We have a lot of students that it's a big challenge for them to sit in front of a person and do an interview. They struggle with eye contact or just their nerves. They have a lot of questions about what to expect. So we sit down with them as many times as it takes to do a mock interview so that they're comfortable. And we reiterate to them too that, we're available when you need us. So on your journey, right? If you're not ready to do that mock interview when you're here, just let us know after graduation when you are ready for that time. And we follow them with their own process and we're there when they need us with their timing.
That's
And
amazing.
yes, absolutely. And the job search, when they're ready, reach out to us and we'll keep sending you jobs and help you until you're ready to kind of, push them along sometimes.
Oh, I love this. It's like your own personal LinkedIn. You don't have to go read an
Absolutely.
article to learn how to do all of these things. Come to South College and graduate. I love that. That's amazing.
Yes. We
All
love it
right.
too. It's fun.
Yeah, and interview skills are so important, particularly if you don't have that experience when you're going in to interview for that job and knowing what questions to ask, but also to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need, not be shy about asking about compensation or healthcare benefits if the interview goes well. I mean, those are all important things. I love that. All right, Mary-Kathryn. So let's talk about networking with former graduates while they're still in school. How does that work? And how can the students benefit from the advice of someone who's, well, been there already?
Yeah, well, Kathleen, there's something so incredibly powerful about hearing from someone who was sitting pretty much in that exact same seat as where you're at not so long ago. What we find from our alumni is that they bring in such real world perspective. They can tell you what to expect, what they wish they knew, and how they navigated challenges, whether they're similar, slightly different, or the exact same. And I think what's really interesting is just the concept of mentorship. It's one of the top things that our graduates tell us that they're looking to participate in. They want
Mhm.
to be that person for someone else and help guide that new student, maybe that new job seeker, and they want to tell them what worked for them and what's still working for them. And it's really interesting because of this. We have been very intentional as leadership here at the institution with building and emphasizing mentorship into things like our alumni association. When graduates create their profile, they have the option to sign up as a mentor. And as of now, we have over 2,500 alumni as a part of our alumni association who have raised their hand and said, "Hey, I'm willing to help someone else." And I think what also makes that just so powerful is the diversity within that group. Our alumni come from all kinds of backgrounds, as we just talked about. They're from different career paths, different life experiences, and even across the country. And because of that, it really doesn't matter where that student is starting from. There's a very strong chance that they can connect with someone who really truly gets it, someone who understands their individualized special journey and can offer guidance that feels really relevant and personal. Sure, our career services department, we do a great job with coming in, working one on one with that student. But for students, when they have this alumni mentor, it really helps to build confidence and clarity. It really turns I hope I can do this into more of a statement of, I know I can do this because someone already has. And they're willing to help me get there. And I think that that just really transforms networking from something that can feel kind of intimidating into something that's personal, supportive, and meaningful.
Yeah, I love that. And I love the fact that, you have the ability to be mentored in such a way that it has a lot of affinity to it. Gosh, you were in the same program as me. Hey, you've been there. You remember this test or you remember this particular class. Help me get there. And to see and be a part of something where you see someone in front of you that's very aspirational because they've been there. And again, it's always nice to bounce ideas and to your point, networking with someone who has been in your shoes already. So I love that. And I think it's a really great opportunity for our alumni to give back and give back to the current student population, of course, as we continue to grow. And as an institution, we just keep getting bigger and bigger. So I want to go back to the website now. So, Ben, tell me a little bit more about this website and
Yeah.
this alumni platform, and how do I find it? What information do you need from me? And tell me a little bit about what goes on in this
Yeah.
alumni site.
This is a great story, Kathleen. And Mary-Kathryn and Jaime and I have been involved from the start. And just briefly, a little background is about 5 years ago, the administration decided that we needed to have an alumni association, something really concrete, something with some texture and deep and wide and lots of offerings and that sort of thing. So we sort of shopped for platform provider, and we credit Mary-Kathryn for this service called Gravity. And they actually build alumni platforms for colleges and universities, and they're based in Tel Aviv, Israel, of all places. So Jaime and Mary-Kathryn and I have been working with a rep with Gravity in Israel for several years, and this fella and his company have enabled us to build a platform that is quite impressive. It is alumni.south.edu. And that is our address for our alumni association. Everything is there. And it's really in place to connect our alumni with each other and all of our many offerings. So as folks are nearing their end of their time with us and they're flipping to that active pending grad status, they'll get a little reminder to join the alumni association. It's free. There's no cost whatsoever. And they'll get a little email reminder, and then we might bug them again later down the road to go ahead and sign up. It takes just a few minutes to create a profile, and then you're in the system. And then we can automatically see who you are and maybe what you're interested in. And one of the dynamic things about South College, Kathleen, we all know, is that as a proprietary college, we are not asking our graduates for money. Some of us have had relationships with colleges and universities that might remind us to make a contribution every now and then. And we're not doing that.
Oh, every
We all
week, every week. I'm
Yes.
telling
we,
you.
we all talk about it. And then the other thing is athletics. We don't have an athletic program. So Mary-Kathryn and Jaime and I and many of our administrative leaders decided that we would hang our hat in our alumni association on career development and all aspects of career development. Like, where do I go for help? Could we post jobs? So Jaime and I in the field, and Mary-Kathryn too, we have tried to impress upon our graduates, our pending grads, current student body, when you finish or as you go through your life work journey, remember alumni.south.edu, because that's where you'll see jobs. I checked it this morning. We've had some of our associates posting jobs on alumni.south.edu this very morning, all around the institutional system. So we've tried to impress upon the students and our alums and our recent grads, this is where you can stay connected. This is where you can find each other. This is where you can become a member. This is where you can hear about happenings at the college. This is where there may be a webinar, a seminar offered that would help me with my continuing understanding of job search and how we're going to use AI in job search of all things. So all of that is placed there, and it's been quite popular in recent years.
Yeah. Well, if you didn't catch it the first 4 times, it's alumni.south.edu. I love it. I got my own pitch man over here. This is great. Your point about alumni associations typically asking for money, I swear to you, I get something in the mail at least once a week, if not more frequently, from where I went to school. And it's a credit card offer that's got the school logo on it. And it's,
Yeah,
hey, we have this fundraiser effort going on, or hey, we're raising money for this. Don't you want to donate? Don't you want to
yeah,
donate? And I've reached a point where it's just complete saturation and I toss it in the garbage. So I love the fact this is kind of an additional unspoken perk that when you're a South College alumnus, all of your services are free. They're free to you. And guess what? We're never going to ask you for a dime. I
right.
love that. That is a huge point for those of us that are inundated with alumni solicitations from other schools. All
Yes.
right, Jamie, question for you. Got to know, how great is it to see former students that you know come back and interact with current students to help shine a light for them?
It's great, and I've been lucky enough to have former students come back and even work here at South College. So I had a recent graduate that I worked with a lot last year that graduated in June 2025. She's now a financial aid officer here. So I got to know her, I was able to mentor her while she was a work study of mine. And now she's just a great representative of our financial aid department and gets to work with students herself. So those stories are amazing. And we have a lot of graduates that just come back and walk in our door and thank us for everything. They want to tell us, of course, we want to know where they work. So we make sure we find that out. Because that's what makes us happy and we want to see where they're placed. But they'll come back in person and thank us, or they'll connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me a message. It's wonderful. That's one of the best parts about our job is that we kinda get the best end of it, if you ask me. Like, a lot of students come through, they're going through student services, that middle part of their journey, the beginning, the middle. We have the end where we get to see, where they land, where their all of their work paid off, and where those accomplishments ended. So, that's the best part.
Yeah, I love that. All right. So, same question, Mary-Kathryn and Ben. So, you finally get a chance to see students that you've possibly interacted with or have helped through the alumni process after they cross the stage and they come back and they want to be mentors, they want to help, they want to interact with current students. Tell me how gratifying that is.
Well, I can start. It's honestly, for me, one of the most rewarding parts of the job. Seeing former students come back and just pour into our current students, it's really a full circle moment. It shows that what they experienced here meant something. And now they want to be a part of that same guidance for someone else. And I think what really makes it even more special is that it's genuine from these individuals. These aren't just quick interactions because our alumni are taking the time to share their stories, talk about the challenges they faced, and be honest about what they're looking to try to achieve in the future, too. And that type of transparency really just resonates with our current students. It also helps with our students starting to see themselves in those success stories. So when they hear from someone who sat in the classroom, balanced similar responsibilities, or faced similar obstacles, it really makes their own goals feel much more attainable. And from an institutional perspective, it creates this really strong sense of community and continuity as well. It's not just about the individual's success anymore, but it becomes about lifting others up as we move forward. And that's just creates a culture that's just a ripple effect. You know, one student is impacted, then they go on to help someone else, and it just continues to grow.
Yeah, it's totally full circle, which is the other thing that I really love. I've heard that as an alumnus of another school that says, oh, well, you quote, never leave, it's a part of you. But I mean, at South College, we actually really embody that. You really never leave because you have the opportunity to come back, give back, or to your point, become an employee or come back for a different program or a different degree. I mean, I love that. And I think it's great. All right, Ben, same question. So, what's it
Yeah.
like to see this full circle stuff going on?
I've got one, Kathleen, and that's just very moving. True story. We have started working with a young man that was finishing a master's program in education. And he came and sat down with me and said, I've kind of got an interesting story. He said, I am currently the custodian of an elementary school in a neighboring county here in the Knoxville market. And he said, my wife is a school teacher at this elementary school, and I have two elementary school age daughters that are enrolled at the school. And a while back, my daughter said, essentially, Daddy, why can't you be a teacher? Now, this guy's been the custodian of the school, and he kept working and put things to work here at South College and finished a master's in education and is now teaching at that school. He did it.
Wow.
And so we found him. I found him, and we had him come back and speak to a group of faculty and staff for South College during a holiday function, and stood up and told this story, and concluded by saying, "Thank you, South College, for enabling me to do this. I found a way to do it and still work, and now I'm a teacher. And you all helped me do it, and it was." It was an interesting afternoon. It was very, very moving, but a great true story.
Oh man, that's amazing. I love that story so much because it's all about perseverance and most importantly, determination to seeing a goal all the way through. And what an inspiration. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie. So, like, what's your best alumni story in all the years that you've been doing this? What really stands out to you?
My favorite by far was a nursing student that came through, and she graduated in 2022. She was also a work study of mine, and her dream was to be an RN. That was had always been her dream. And her personality was wonderful, and she struggled with a few classes. She would come in here and talk to me, during her work study days, and just confide in me about the struggles, and I'll just urged her to just keep moving, hang in there. She tried to drop out a couple times, and we kept on moving. She kept moving, struggled really hard, and then got better within that last 2 quarters, and graduated. And we reach out to all of our graduates to make sure they're working in their field, and she was. She did get her dream job that she always wanted. She was making really good money, actually way higher than the average hourly wage of our BSNs at that time that graduated. And I knew she could do it because she had that bedside manner, that perfect personality to where she was empathetic. I knew she'd be a great nurse. And so that was really the most exciting student that stuck out to me. That
What?
it's not always easy. The journey is hard.
Oh, of course.
Myself, I couldn't imagine going through the BSN program. I think it would be hard. It would be difficult for me.
Me neither. I watched my own child go through the accelerated BSN program, and no thanks.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel too.
No, no
So I
thanks.
so it was nice to
She
see
was an
that.
excellent student for her
Yeah,
first bachelor's and her undergraduate
undergraduate
degree, and
degree.
she did the accelerated BSN program here at South College, and, it's hard, and
It's
anybody
hard.
that assumes that nursing is just, "Oh, you just learn how to take care of people." Oh my goodness, it is so much more than that. It is a definitely hard program. All right, Mary-Kathryn, so what's your best alumni story?
Oh, Kathleen, that is just so hard for me to say and just to choose one because I've been really fortunate to have the opportunity to work with thousands of grads since being here. But I will say that there is one story that always sticks with me and that I don't think I will ever forget. I worked with a student who was pursuing an Associate of Science in Health Science pre-nursing degree with the goal of going into the medical field. And while she was in her program, she experienced just an unimaginable personal loss. She lost her unborn son at 39 weeks pregnant, and this
Oh
was
my
just months
gosh.
before she was set to graduate. And that, despite everything that she had to go through and process, she made the decision to keep going and she stayed committed to her education and honored the promise that she had made to herself and her unborn son and graduated with honors just a few months later. And not long after that, she stepped into a role in healthcare. She taught herself some new additional terminology that maybe wasn't necessarily in the forefront of her studies. And then she obtained additional certifications and continued moving on to pursuing her goal and pursuing her education for a physician assistant program. And I think
Wow.
to me, the reason why this just stands out, because this is just wild, I think for me, it's her resilience. It's the way she turned something that was so incredibly difficult into the motivation that kept her going and growing. And I think that those are the stories, that just kind of stick with you no matter how many years you've been
Mhm.
doing this, no matter where you're at when you're working with these graduates. It's because when current students hear that it's these types of stories, it's not just inspiring, it's grounding. It reminds them of the challenges that are part of the journey. Because, like I always tell all my students, life doesn't stop just because you're in school. I mean, heck, if that did, school would be so easy for everyone.
Yeah.
But being able to turn these negative experiences and hardships into something positive, letting them not necessarily define the outcome, but instead reframing that experience is just something that is so inspirational.
Oh, I love that. What an incredible story. My goodness. And you're right. Turning what could seemingly be a career ending tragedy and just something that is unimaginable in terms of just being difficult into such a personal victory. That's incredible. And again, the power of never giving up. I love that. That's just awesome. All right, Mary-Kathryn, I'm going to stay with you on this. What are your top three suggestions for students right now that are set to graduate soon?
Okay, so right now, if you were going to be graduating soon, my first tip would be start before you feel ready. I can tell you that we see this all the time with students while they are still in school. I know career services can sometimes feel a little relentless, especially when you're close to graduating, encouraging you to attend career fairs or networking and to go to these types of events before they think they're ready. But there's a reason for that. Everything from us is about practice. The earlier you start when the stakes are still low, the more comfortable and confident you're going to become when the stakes are higher. You have time to make mistakes when you're starting earlier. You can learn from them, you can refine your approach, and you can start building connections. And honestly, you'd be surprised just at how much people remember when you show up, follow up, and stay engaged over time. Now, the second is use your resources because I can't talk enough about how many resources we have for our students and our graduates. And that support doesn't go away after graduation. So, whether it's working one on one with your career services advisor, like Jamie mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, or using the other tools that we have, like our career services preparation workbook, which walks you through the entire job search from start to finish, we've really tried to meet our students wherever they are. We also have platforms like Skills First, which incorporates a lot of AI to help you with things like building resumes, drafting cover letters, and even practicing interview skills. And I'll be honest, interviewing is probably, and I know Jamie already mentioned this, but I can't reiterate it enough. It's probably the number one area where our students tend to hold back. And it's also the area that we feel like they need the most practice. So being able to take advantage of all these resources that we have here at South College for you can make such a huge difference. And I would just say that the third tip that I have for you is just stay adaptable. Your first job is not going to be your final destination. It's just your starting point. You may not end up exactly where you thought you would when you first started out in your program, and that's okay. I can say even from my own personal experience, where I am now, it isn't anywhere where I thought I would originally be when I graduated from my undergraduate degree. But as you enter the workforce, you learn more about yourself. You learn things like what do you enjoy? What don't you enjoy? What kind of environment do you thrive in? And you'll discover different paths, different specialties, different opportunities. And all of that helps shape where you ultimately want to go. So being open, flexible, and willing to pivot when you need to, it's incredibly important because there's rarely one straight path to success and to your end goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now it's funny, I actually wanted to be a solid gold dancer when I was getting out of school, and, well, we all see how that turned out, so
But you found
That's
something
great.
that you loved, and that's
I
what it's
I
all
mean,
about.
it was my thing at the time. It was the '80s. So, anyway. All right, Jamie, same question for you. What are your top 3 suggestions for students right now, as they're staring at graduation looming ahead?
Yes. So I am with MK on the networking. That is so important. So they just need to take advantage of the time that they are here and make those good relationships with their faculty, staff. Ask them if they can be used as a reference. We offer a lot of clinical rotations in a lot of our programs here in the medical fields. And I tell the students right now, do if you love one of those rotations, make sure you're having those conversations. Ask what's going to be available if there's nothing right now. Make some connections with people that work there. That's number one. It's just to network. And to make those relationships with their cohort. They don't think about it right now, but as time goes on, they can really help each other. We have a lot of students that will call me. They've just gotten a job and they say, "Hey, can you reach out to my cohort and let them know they're hiring 3 more?" People that really care. So network not only with people here at South College, but with your cohort, with the students that were with you on that same journey. Number two, polish your resume. Have us look at it, make sure it's ready to apply on large platforms. So if you're not networking to get a job, you are there on Indeed, getting that resume in there. And that right now, a lot of people you probably hear say, "Hey, I put a resume in on Indeed. I didn't hear a thing." We talk about those AI matchups. They use a scanner process to match up that resume with the job description they're looking at. How to personalize that resume to get that resume pulled and get you to an interview. So
Yeah.
those are important things that we have to talk about as far as resume. So polish that resume and clean up your social media. That's a big thing. Everybody's looking at that social media. So we like to remind them that, hey, you might want to clean that up if you got anything out there that maybe you shouldn't have out there for everyone to see because people are
Oh,
going to
no,
be looking at it.
that's outstanding advice on so many levels because I actually know someone who interviewed and landed an awesome executive role. And guess what? They found something in their social media from about 5 years previous that was the end of that. So there
Hmm.
you go. And I'm kind of intrigued by the LinkedIn suggestions and about making yourself a little more marketable. Of course, all I get on LinkedIn are salespeople. Uh,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much all I hear from are salespeople, but that's okay. All right, Ben, let's hear from you on this one. What's your journey and how did you get to South College? I think I know this story.
Well, I'm a baby boomer, Kathleen. I finished a 40-year career with a nonprofit, a very large nonprofit. Worked all around the country and landed in Knoxville, and routinely called on South College for support, philanthropic support from South College, and made a connection with the leadership here. They were always supported, always very giving. And I actually retired from that business after 41 years and found that I was still feeling very active and basically failed in retirement. I didn't want to do it. And so I actually reached out to the college, to the leadership, and said, I feel like I have something to offer 40 years of work in 6 cities across America, coast to coast, and I'd be willing to help students in some way. And so I came here in career services, working with Jaime in Knoxville, and we helped along with Mary-Kathryn. We had a career services program here, but it wasn't anything near what we've amassed presently. Mary-Kathryn's led us as we have created a really sophisticated system for our current students and pending grads and beyond. And that would be one message for any students or anyone listening, potential students, alumni that are listening to this, to stay connected because Career Services has a unique, wonderful plan to help you with your work journey. And we have some experts across our institution, and they will help you fulfill that dream for sure.
Oh, I remember the first time meeting you, it was 4 years ago. I think I had been at South College maybe 10 minutes. And you came and sat in my office and you
Yeah.
just went on and on and on about alumni services and all these cool things that we could do and all this stuff that you were hoping that we could partner with marketing on. And I remember thinking, wow, this is like a one-man powerhouse of all the things about alumni services. So it's been a lot of fun to partner with you guys. All right, Mary-Kathryn, the same question for you. What's your journey and how'd you get to South College?
Well, I feel like I could talk forever about it, but I'll try and keep it brief. But I will say I came to South College mostly because of the passion I have for helping students, and I wanted something that I could make a larger impact with them. I wanted to ensure that I was in a position and at an institution who understood the importance of looking at the student holistically. Because, like I said earlier, life doesn't stop while you're in school, and it won't stop when it comes time to look for a new job and look for new employment opportunities to utilize that hard earned degree. And I wanted to just ensure that I was able to help guide students and alumni to success. I've been in career services and working with alumni since about 2013. So we're on a 13-year journey here in general. And what really stood out to me about just South College and compared to some of my previous institutions was the focus on student success beyond the classroom. Because it's not just about education, it's about outcomes. It's about the support and it's about the long term growth. And that mission just really aligned with me, who I am, and what I'm passionate about. And honestly, that's what's kept me here and probably will keep me here until I can be fortunate enough to retire.
Oh, okay. I love that. Well, I love the confidence in that too, because again, you put so much time and effort and energy into something and you just see it mushroom and continue to grow and continue to grow. And that's awesome. Okay. So Jamie, similar question. What's been your journey and how'd you get to South College?
So mine's a little interesting. So I have 3 boys. They're all teenagers now, and, so I stayed home with my boys, for a lot of time as a stay-at-home mom, but also working part-time, just helping my mom out with a couple of her businesses, and decided that I just wanted to go back to work full-time. So I'd heard about South College. I had, known some people that had worked here previously and loved the people here, loved the organization, and I actually started at the front desk here in 2019. So did that and worked alongside admissions mainly. With doing that, they pursued me and asked me about the new department they were trying to launch here at the Knoxville campus with myself and Ben Landers in mind. And I jumped on it, and I'm really glad I did. And so we spent a lot of time in those early years just kind of building career services, figuring out how it was going to work, seeing how to get in touch with those students. And here we are now in 2026, and it has came a long way, and I have enjoyed every second of it. South College is a great place to work. The people, the community here, you can't beat it. Very
Oh, I
lucky.
agree. I agree. It's been a whirlwind 4 years for me. Every day I'm kind of like, wait, it's been 4 years. It seems like I got here yesterday sometimes. All right, so Jamie, sticking with you on this, what do you do in your spare time?
That's funny. I have 3 teenagers. What's that?
Oh, you
Right?
have no spare time.
Yes. No, it's a lot of fun. So in the spring and summer, this is the fun part, right? I love this time of year. So we go to the lake a lot on our spare time. Hopefully get everybody together and just kind of breathe and get some sunshine. That's what we try to do and hike out here in
Yeah,
the beautiful mountains is what I do.
nice. All right, Mary-Kathryn, what do you do in your spare time?
I will say I really try to stay connected with the people who matter to me most. I unlike Jamie, I do not have any children, but I like to, and I pride myself on being the cool aunt. So a lot of the my weekends I try to spend with my extended family, especially my 2 nephews and my 1 niece. They definitely keep things fun and busy, but I'm also someone who just really enjoys anything creative. So anything creative and anything that challenges me. So I do a lot of projects, and that sometimes makes my husband a little bit irritated with me. But I can say anything from like baking to knitting to just doing some type of arts and crafts, I'm definitely in. But I also do try to give back to my community when I can. I'm a part of my neighborhood block club. And so on nice days, we're out there doing things that try to make an impact on the community, whether that's volunteering with local organizations, doing things like neighborhood cleanups, or planning social events to bring people together. So I will say I just like to stay busy. So if I'm not doing something, I feel a little bit lost, but I do enjoy being engaged, being creative, and just spending time with all the people around me.
Well, then you're in the perfect job because I
I
know you're
feel.
busy. Ah, I love it. I love it. All right, Ben, what do you do in your spare time? So
Well,
now I know you said you retired after 41 years and you've been
yeah.
working and hustling full time in South College. Do you have any spare time?
Oh, yes. My wife and I have raised 4 children to adulthood, 2 girls and 2 boys. That's one of the reasons I look like I do. And it has been a challenge, Kathleen. And they are all married. They're all college graduates. They all have children. They all make a difference in their communities. They're all pretty good citizens, and these children have children now. So we have 9 now grandchildren all over
Wow.
the United States, and so we're committed to that quite frequently. But when I do have some spare time, I fly fish in our area lakes and rivers and mountains. It's rather fantastic in the greater East Tennessee area. And I actually have a set of drums, and there's nothing more better release than anything to go sit and play a set of drums and just beat the lard out of them. And it's a great release. So I'm active. I'm a mature guy now, but I try to stay very active.
Well, see, this is why we get along. I played as well. I played 12 years. So there you go. I love
Yeah,
that story. That's amazing. I can tell you a quick story. Years and years ago, I went to a drum clinic when I was in high school. And the drummer for Rush, Neil Peart, was there. He
yeah.
was the guest instructor. I sneezed
Oh.
and he blessed me. So there you go.
That's a great. We need to talk about that. I know who
We
you're
got to
talking
talk
about.
about that. And
That's
I got to
wonderful.
yeah, it's an awesome story. All right, Ben, I asked this question of all of my guests. What kind of student were you in school?
Fair to middling. I went to school during the Vietnam era, and you went to college during a really tough time in the 70s. Vietnam was raging and winding down, but you went to school because if you didn't, you were going to be drafted and you'd ultimately wind up in a very unpopular situation. And so I went to school at Middle Tennessee State University, and I was glad to be there and graduate, and it was the thing to do at the time.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right. That's very interesting. All right, Jamie, same question for you. What kind of student were you in school?
Well, I think it depended on the time. So I went to the University of Tennessee. My blood runs orange, and I loved every second of it. I'd still be there if they had not made me graduate. um, anyway, at times I was not the best. I was in a sorority and met a lot of great people at the beginning, but I had to learn how to manage my time. And then I figured it out. I was a good student later on, maybe not so much in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Which sorority were you in at UT?
I was a Kappa Delta at
Oh,
UT.
you were KD. Very nice. Very
Yes.
nice. I was a Delta, Delta, Delta. Can I help you, help you, help you? So there you
Yes!
go.
Had lots of friends in that sorority. It's
Yes.
fun.
Can't get a date by 8. Try Del. There you go.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Mary-Kathryn, same question for you. What kind of student were you in school? Although I think I know the answer to this one.
Well, I will say, I think Jamie's story kind of relates a little bit to me. I attended the University of Pittsburgh. I would say that I was a student who really kind of had to grow into it. In the beginning, I struggled a lot. I was still trying to figure out how to manage my time, how to study effectively, and just trying to find the balance between everything. I was a member of the of Pitt's marching band, which takes a lot of extra time out of your
Yes, it
day.
does. I was
So
also in a college marching band. I was a twirler. So yes, I can relate. A lot of
yeah.
travel, a lot of practice.
And it is, right? So really kind of finding that how do you balance it all? And there's a little bit of growing up that I had to do, but once I found my rhythm, things really started to click. I want to say like I kind of consider myself like the rags to riches story when it comes down to being a student where I was a really bad student in the beginning. I had a 1.3 GPA after my
Oh,
first semester. And by the time I graduated, I was one of the few of my friends who somehow was able to get over a 3.0. And I know that's not as great as, I could have been. But with that learning curve, once I found that rhythm and things started to click, I just became more focused and intentional with my time and started to see the results of that effort. So making sure that I enjoyed the experience along the way was important, but I realized that it was more important to build kind of some relationships and learn how to make the best out of a bad situation. So things might not have started perfectly, but when you stay committed and you get involved, you'll figure it out. And I grew into someone who was focused and driven by the end of it.
I love that, and it's a great theme of maturity, and, just
Yes.
because you may not be cut out to be a college student at 18 doesn't mean that you're not gonna be able to get where you need to get when you're a little older, have a little more worldly experience and maturity. I love that. That's a great story, and, I mean, just for the sake of disclosure, I always say I was a distracted student, a very nice ladylike way of saying I was not necessarily a great student when I started. I wish I could go back and do it all over again. I think I'd be better. Things got better, of course, the older I got. So there you go. All right, everybody. See, once you graduate, you are part of the family. For our soon to be graduates of South College out there, thank you for letting us be a part of your journey. And as we heard here, we aren't going away. Ben's going to find you. And I think Jamie's going to make sure that you're on LinkedIn and that it's perfect. I want to thank my guest, Executive Director of Institutional Student Affairs, Mary-Kathryn Arnold, Director of Institutional Career and Alumni Services, Ben Landers, and Director of Career Services, Jaime Lindbaugh, for joining me. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
All right. That's awesome. I hope everybody got something out of that. Coming up after the break, you will hear from one of our alumni who loved it so much she decided not to leave. And no, it's not because of the coffee truck Fridays or bookstore discounts either. She stayed because, well, we're pretty awesome. Stick around. We'll be right back.
When you start your new career path at South College, you'll join students from different walks of life at varying stages in their lives. Many students are going back to school to finish degrees, while others are pursuing elevated education that will help them improve their potential in their current roles or for chasing a new direction. South College offers over 100 programs and concentrations with specialized focus on associate, bachelor's, master's, educational specialist, and doctoral degrees in healthcare, business, technology, education, and legal studies. We are regularly developing new academic programs based on local, regional, and national trends. Each curriculum is designed to promote development of knowledge and skills in the associated discipline as we challenge and support our students. South College is committed to providing intellectual, social, and professional development to a diverse student body. With locations in Knoxville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Georgia, Asheville, North Carolina, Orlando, Florida, Indianapolis, Indiana, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, and Marietta, Georgia, as well as programs delivered through Competency-Based Education, or CBE, and online. We're here with you every step of the way, starting with the admissions process. To find out more, visit South College at south.edu. South College, where dreams find direction.
Welcome back. So, you just heard all about the amazing services and perks waiting for you as a South College graduate. There's a lot waiting for you, of course, when you're ready to graduate. But really, what happens next? My next guest can answer all of that. After earning her degree at South College, she loved it so much she joined us as a key member of our financial aid staff. Welcome to the podcast, alumnus Jamie Avila. Hi there.
Hi.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. It's great to talk to you. You were highly recommended for me to talk to, and you are a true success story as an alum who stuck around to help others, find their dreams. So let's get into this. As an alumni, tell us about your degree and your experience as a South College student.
Hi, yes, my experience was very, very great. I earned my bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in marketing. I also got to meet many good friends while I was a student. And while being in college, I learned a lot of new things. And I always got help that I needed it from faculty and staff. And I think that was a great experience I could ask for.
Oh, that's great. So I've heard you have a very, very compelling backstory and kind of how you got here, and most importantly, what's been your journey up to this point. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so it all started when I was graduating high school and I started wanting to go to college and I found South College and I got to meet with financial aid, admissions and advisors and all that. And throughout college, I got many part times, but as well as I ended up being a work study, and that was one of my greatest experience as a college student. And I also got to help with graduation, and I got to meet many of like the faculty members in there, and it was so great.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And you get to work in financial aid. So, kind of how cool is that that you get to meet students who are at the front of their own journey?
Yes, I find that amazing, especially meeting with students who think that, like, especially when they think that it's not financially possible for them to go to college, but once they meet with us, they realize that they're eligible for financial aid that they didn't even think of.
Yeah, yeah. So what advice do you offer them? I mean, what are you able to tell them at that point?
My main advice would be to not be afraid to ask your financial aid officer questions about financial aid and your funding plan.
Yeah. And it's always important to really understand that aspect because I know that's definitely kind of a showstopper for a lot of people, even not just the 18-year-olds, but the older students, the 35,
Yes.
40 and on up who are thinking about going to school maybe for a second time or in this case they may be a first generation college student and they finally have their life in a place where they're ready to go to school. I mean, that's got to be exciting to say, "Hey, wait, there is a pathway. There is a financial aid or funding pathway to do this." I mean, that gets exciting, right?
Yes, and there can be many things that they probably don't understand, so definitely they have the option to ask as many questions as they need to because we are here to help them and to help them understand how everything works.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so why South College? How did you find us as a student?
Mainly, I was searching colleges to go to on Google, and I found South College and Rome State, and I called both of them. And when I came in person, I was definitely interested in South College because of the small classrooms,
Mhm.
and that meant that I was going to be able to get more help from my professors, which turned out to be the case.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that you found it through Google. That makes the marketer very happy.
Yes, I
'Cause
definitely found it through Google.
there you go. I love it. There's a success story. All right. So, for all of our potential students out there listening and are wanting to know more about financial aid at South College, give us your top 3 tips for anyone right now who is about to graduate and the options that they have based on your own experience with the Alumni Association.
Yes. So my main three tips would be to join the website, connect with faculty and staff members, and definitely take advantage of the career services department.
Yeah. Well, in our previous segment, Ben and Mary-Kathryn and Jamie laid out for us that there is interviewing skills and learning how to interview, learning how to format a resume, but most importantly, how to format a resume for AI and for LinkedIn. You're be able to be mentored by people who have been in your program or have been in your shoes somewhere. I mean, how was that? And most importantly, for these tips that you have for them, how great is that to be able to pass on those skill sets to other people who are just coming up and just getting started?
Yeah, I think it's great. I especially took advantage of that as a first generation college student. I didn't have anyone to go to, and they were like there for me to go to them and then get all the help that I needed, it, especially with like mock interviews, trying to find a job and all that. So I think they should really take advantage of that while they have it.
Yeah, I love that. So, what do you know now that you kind of wish you knew when you were a student?
Yes, so that would be mainly career services. Don't be nervous about meeting with career services because they can offer many resources that are very useful, like the ones that we just mentioned, mock interviews and finding jobs. That would be like my main one.
Yeah, I love that. And the mock interviews are so important because interview skills are something that you're going to carry with you for the rest of your career, whether it's
Yes.
interviewing for your first job or interviewing for that really big possible promotion or anything else. Interviewing skills are just key and critical. And it's funny, I interview people for the podcast and I feel like I need help sometimes. I mean, hey, All right. So tell us a little bit about you. So I know a little bit about your backstory, but your parents brought you here. And I mean, shape a little bit of that for me in terms of how you decided on the degree pathway that you wanted. What were you interested in as a kid?
Oh, well, that's a really good question. I moved to the United States when I was 12 years old, and I went through college mainly for my bachelor's of business because I was really interested in business, especially because I've always been the oldest daughter and I've always had to help my parents with their business. They do roofing. So I've
Mhm.
always had that interest in me when it comes to business and numbers and all that.
Yeah, I love that. And it's really interesting because, particularly in business, you can go in so many different directions. You don't
Yes.
necessarily have to, it's not like, no, no, I'm not poking fun at accounting, but in accounting, I mean, this is what you do. But in business and with a business degree, you've got so many different directions that you can go in, and there's so many modifications that you can take. So that's awesome. What do you do in your spare time, if you have any?
Yes, usually my spare time, I just like to hang out with friends and family, or sometimes I go to the gym whenever I don't have anything planned with friends or family. But mainly, I also like to go to the gym most of the
Yeah.
time. Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And obviously financial aid, you spend a lot of time on the phone, you spend a lot of time on your computer, you meet with students, of course, in person. What's that like? I mean, you're talking to all these different people that have all different circumstances and situations. How do you keep it straight?
It's it's really great. I really like to meet with many students because they have all of them have like a different case, and it's just really nice to help them and be there for them, explain things better to them, especially when they're like at the start, like their journey, and they don't really know how financial aid works. And some of them can be like really like amazed by how things work, or
Mhm.
how they can be like, you explained this better than anyone could have had. And I
Oh.
just find that really amazing. Like being there for them means a lot to me.
Oh, yeah, and to see the light bulb go off when you
Yes.
realize that they completely understand and it completes the picture, yeah, that's gotta be
Yes.
very I love that.
Especially, yeah, especially with financial aid, there's many things that students have to go through, and they're like, "Well, I understand that," but then once they leave the office, they can be like, "Well, maybe I didn't." And sometimes, you kinda see that in the student, but you
Mhm.
also see that in the student when they were there like, "Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about."
Yeah, yeah, and you're bilingual, so that's also gotta be very helpful when you need to explain something to a student or even to a family or parents of a
Yes.
student, and you're able to communicate where you need to, right?
Yes, that is right.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so we have to ask, and although I have a feeling I already know the answer, but what kind of student were you in school?
I was pretty much, a very good student, I would say.
I'm
First of
not
all, I've been
surprised,
told.
by the way.
But yes, I was always on top of my grade, especially, and then always on top of everything I needed to be financial aid wise and everything. So I believe I was a pretty good student.
Yeah, yeah, I'm totally not surprised by that at all. You seem like a go-getter. And most importantly, particularly with a business degree, I mean, you obviously have to be really, really serious about direction. So I love that. All right, well, there you have it. Here she is, living proof that South College is home and it can be a place where your dream can find a direction and, well, maybe a job.
Thank you.
I want to thank my guest, business school alumnus and South College financial aid officer, Jamie Avila. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Well, that's going to do it for us today. With 10 campuses in 7 states, plus online and CVE, there's a pathway for you at South College. Hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Live from South College. The Live from South College podcast is a production from South College Marketing. Thanks for joining me. If you love it, give it some stars, and you can always send us feedback by emailing us at southcollegepodcast@south.edu. Have an awesome day and let your dreams find direction. See you next time.